Today we're gonna make some garlicky harissa bison meatballs, one of the best things that you could possibly meal prep to start the week. So, as always on the Cookwell channel, we do things live, we don't cut things, so any spills, any things like that happen, they just tend to happen. But what's great about meatballs in general, not just this specific recipe, is that basically all you need to do is mix salt with any kind of ground meat. I happen to be using some ground bison, a little bit leaner, a little bit higher protein, which is really good. And then, Italian meatballs kind of use all the like breadcrumbs and a bunch of spices and add some milk to them. This recipe is not about like making the perfect meatball or anything like that from a texture perspective. It is about making probably the simplest meatball that still tastes really good. So for that, oh, maybe I should have turned it on. So for that, all I do, pound of ground meat. The one key for this is I add 1% salt. So 450 grams, going with 4 grams of salt. That's just like a good baseline salt level. Then harissa, which is like a spicy pepper paste. There are kind of milder versions. I like the spicier version. So I'm just gonna throw in, I don't know, we'll see. I'll just kind of eyeball it. That is 50 grams of harissa. That looks like a good amount. And then lastly, we just have some fresh garlic. And when it comes to meatballs, I like doing kind of less but very strongly flavored things. So you could make this with any kind of spice combination you wanted to. Make it Italian inspired, Mexican inspired, fresh herbs. You could throw in like a bunch of onions, garlic, parsley, that type of thing if you're kind of going that way. Harissa just makes it easy because it's kind of a prepared sauce. And then I'm just gonna throw in a little bit of garlic, which makes it really, really easy. And then because I'm feeling lazy, I'm probably just gonna kind of rough chop these a little bit. So just kind of in half first and then slice across. I don't mind like bigger chunks of garlic in there. But if you did kind of want to release more of that garlic flavor, we've kind of talked about that on the garlic deep dive on the main channel. You could pound this into a paste. You could finely mince it if you wanted to. Just kind of depends on what you're going for. But I'm just kind of going for this super rough chop, so there'll be a little bit bigger chunks in there. Then we just mix it. And then I don't really, if you were prepping these ahead, you could kind of shape them all, put them on like a tray, pop them in your fridge, whatever. I'm kind of just gonna shape them right on the griddle that we have preheating back here. But as you can see, we've got this like nice red color. You get all the aromas from all the harissa and everything. So let's give these a cook and then we'll prep all of our other components up here. Okay, so we've got our big thing of meat. Like I said, we're preheating back here. I can see that it's smoking. So, I mean, this is, I don't have my thermometer out, but probably at least 400, 450. I'm gonna throw a little bit of oil down. And then, like I said, this is not like a super exact thing. It doesn't really matter. You can make these any size you want. So like, I'm just gonna make them and do them right here. But again, depending on what you've got going on, you could make the meat ahead and store it in the fridge. You could shape them ahead of time, store it in the fridge. Really up to you. Like that's kind of, hopefully the things you're realizing with these recipes on this channel is like they're not, you can follow them exactly if you want to, but I'd change them slightly all the time from, you know, if maybe I want to add some other types of spices that I'm in the mood for. Maybe I want to just change up with what I've got going on in my life. Could do this before a workout or if you're going out for the day, something like that. And really asking yourself those questions during the day is important to figure out rather than waiting until you're hungry and then being like, oh, I've got to figure out dinner now. So I'm going to bring this over here, give the hands a quick wash. Actually, I'll just wash this right away too. That is one thing I like to get done, is just like wash this stuff right away, clean the sink out. We're waiting on the meatballs anyway. Okay. And then these should cook pretty quickly. I'm going to flip them probably in a second here, actually. We got some nice char on there. And then we'll probably try to sear these on like roughly 3 sides, just so we make sure we cook them all the way around. Okay, something like that. And then while those continue to sear, we're going to prep all of our other components for like kind of turning this into a rice bowl. Down just a little bit. Okay, I'm just going to put some of my stuff away that I don't really need anymore. We're going to make a very, very simple yogurt sauce, high protein. Also tastes pretty good. I'll make this kind of yogurt sauce fairly frequently. Oh yeah, I have some leftover rice I need to get. So lettuce, we're gonna use some tomato. Got some leftover rice here. But first, let's make this this yogurt sauce. I need my spoon again now. So this is whole milk plain yogurt. Still pretty good macros on this though. It is, what is it? 170 calories per serving, but with 18 grams of protein. Tastes a fair bit better than the like the skim version. So that's on 170 grams. So that's a serving right there. I'm not going to use all of it. And then what else do I want in here? Yeah, I think I'm just going to do these two. Literally just a bunch of oregano and a bunch of garlic powder. So I'll give you the measurements. 5 grams of garlic powder. And let's call it 2 grams of oregano. And then I am going to add a little bit of citrus. I don't have I think lemon would go a little bit better, but I kind of just want the citrus, so a lime's going to have to do here. And then we learned from buffalo chicken, got to be careful with the shaking. I think we're just going to stir this one. Here, let me check on these guys back here. Okay. And then I do want to thin this out a little bit. I'm literally just going to add a little bit of water. Just so it kind of like spreads over a little bit more though, more so than globs over. Yeah, something like that. And then like on its own, I mean, it's kind of just like yogurt, bunch of spices in there, but it's going to contrast really now well in terms of the temperature contrast with the meatballs, as well as the creaminess, because we're going to get a lot of our flavors from the meatballs. So like, you don't want to overpower it too much with the flavor of your sauce. Okay. So we're going to do just a little bit of tomato. These tomatoes are kind of on their last leg here. Can feel the kind of the rubbery skin on them as they like start to deteriorate a little bit. Or not like rubbery skin, but it's like the wrinkly skin. But they still taste good, so you got to use them up. Better than throwing it out. Okay, tomato. We'll get some lettuce. Nice thin slice on this. That's good. Don't need that anymore. Don't need that anymore. Don't need that. Don't need that either. We're gonna do a pickled beet. Obviously, any pickle works here. Pickled onion, anything of that nature. But I've kind of been enjoying some pickled beets recently. So just gonna give these a little dice. One thing you gotta be careful with pickled beets is like they definitely will stain like the color. So you gotta be careful you're not like spilling it in your fridge. I kind of need to get these up and off the cutting board too, or else they'll kind of turn it pink. But I feel like pickled beets are kind of slept on as far as pickled items go. Okay, so those meatballs should be done fairly soon. Gonna give them another little mix around. But this is just some leftover rice. Obviously, you could cook it fresh, but I cooked this the other night and used it for, what did I use this for? Oh, I made some kind of chicken. It's like a chicken bowl with some like Mexican spices, a little avocado in there, things of that nature. So this just needs to be kind of reheated. And I'm gonna add a spritz of water to this. Feels a little dry. And then while we're kind of waiting, I'll throw everything back away in the fridge. Got our lid. scraps. Don't need that. All right. And then these meatballs should be done. Can check them with a thermometer. Most of these are like around 140, so they're good to go. So I'm going to turn this off. Throw away my scraps. I've got my sauce right here with the lid so we can store it back in the fridge. Rice. And I was thinking about how I want to plate this up. I think I'm going to go kind of lettuce and stuff in the base. So we got our lettuce first. We've got some of our tomatoes. And you do anything with these meatballs. Throw them in a pita, rice bowl. Countless ways to do it. I'm going to put the beets on top, but I am going to add a little bit of a couple dollops of this underneath, just so it mixes in with the rice nicely first before it's just on top of the meatballs. And then all these boys. We've got all these. So, and then you could easily do, a couple pounds of this at once, like 2-3 pounds. I'm just going to toss a couple of them in the deli container. Then I'll pop them in the fridge. I think I'll do like four of these sized ones. Throw some of those juices on there. All right. I'm going to kind of sauce it in the middle as well. And we'll spread the pickled beets. All right, let's get into this. What I love about this dish is very crushable, just tastes good, range of textures and flavors. Obviously, you get the, meatballs, which are like a little bit more kind of aromatic and spicy. Nice and juicy. But then the freshness and contrast from like your creamy yogurt herb sauce, the tomatoes in there, the pickled beets give it a nice like acidity. It's just like a really satisfying dish to make. Macros are really good, very high protein, would highly recommend. And then you've got meatballs to use tomorrow, the next day, whatever. You can make a batch of 30 of those if you wanted. You've got your sauce. You'd use it for pitas. You can throw them on sandwiches, over rice, over salad. Plenty of ways to use this. So yeah, would highly recommend this one. That will wrap it up for me in this one. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll catch you in the next one.